Do not adjust your screens. It is, in fact, Beaten the Press podcast, back for one episode and one episode only in the month of January.
We just had to come back.
We had to come back. Listen, this is the sort of news that you can't leave behind, and it's breaking news. I mean, it's devastating news. It shook us to the core. People have been in touch with me who haven't been in touch with me for years, checking on my well-being. I didn't know. I was in a work meeting, and madly enough, I didn't get anything from myself. So it was my wife who actually sent me a message, and I didn't check it till the meeting was finished. And Chris was ringing me in the morning. He never ring me in the morning. I'm like, has he shat his pants or something? What's happened? Everything good? And he was like, have you seen the news? I'm like, what news? Check the news, man. I was like, what news? I've messaged you so many times. Anyway. So the news. I mean, we were first 10 minutes. It was just pure shock. You know, I don't think we said many words. I'm like, this isn't real.
I don't think it's sick. I don't think we've ever had a phone call where both of us were just not talking.
Yeah,
we couldn't digest it, could we?
You don't have moments, not in football, but just in life in general, where you're actually speechless. And it was just, I mean, we knew the day at some point would come, but we didn't expect it to come in like middle of a season. No, and we're doing well. You know, we're in four competitions and realistic, a good chance of winning at least one, you'd say. Really set teams got a good balance. Everything's going well, doing well without some top players, and the squad looks better. Everything like as good as it has been. So it was just completely and utterly something that just comes to left field and just takes you by surprise and knocks you for six. And that's where we were. So, but we just felt it had to be. I mean, we've been saying it probably for about 2 months. We need to do a podcast, but it was like, if we don't do it today, we might as well just beating the press.
Yeah, that's it.
Right off.
Sometimes you just need the motivation to get back into it, and sometimes you need a big story, and this is it. Like you say, if we were never going to do a podcast again, this would be it. We would just, we might as well wrap up. But it's just like a feeling of loss. You know what I mean? Like, and like you say, we know that it was coming, but it's just a loss for the league as a whole. I've been listening to a lot of Talk Sport, a lot of Sky Sports, and the reason I like Talk Sport is because obviously they get the fans on and that. And, obviously we all know Liverpool fans are going to be devastated, but there's not a single fan of any club that I heard today that didn't say, I'm kind of glad because it helps my team's chances of progressing higher up the table, potentially by weakening Liverpool. But every one of them said, but, I'm glad, but, we're losing one of the icons of the league. And it was the same when Sir Alex Ferguson left. Although we were glad because we were Liverpool fans and we were like, right, it's the end of Man United's dominance. We didn't expect it to be this good. But it was, you kind of understand that you were losing a legend, someone that spent a lot of your life growing up and watching. And even, my grandparents knew Sir Alex Ferguson was, even though they didn't really watch football. So, a lot of fans of other clubs, even though, they might have a dislike for the club itself, there's always a respect for Jurgen and everything that he's brought to us. And there's nothing more telling when other clubs are happy to see you leave. We wanted Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to stay. We want bad managers to stay. And the fact that, other clubs are happy just shows how good a job he's done.
I mean, I've watched the 30-minute long his interview that he sent across, and there was a few things he said which I get and you'll get as well. I mean, obviously we have not played anywhere close to the elite level and the elite level that he's managed at. But he mentioned something, and he's on about his energy source. I felt flat, I felt deflated, I felt I was finished. Not finished, I felt I didn't have any more to go. Like every time we've played, and even when I've managed I've been managing probably for about 6 or 7 years, and every time I've managed to come in towards, like, you're always looking forward to next season. Like, if this doesn't work, this is what we're going to do. We're going to try and get promoted. We're going to try and really challenge, and if we've got promoted, make sure we stay up and be solid. And next season, these are the players I look at. This is what I'm going to. I might try this. I might try that. And I took a year out like 2 years ago, and I got to like December, January time, and I was like, I don't want to go. I can't do it. I can't be bothered doing this anymore. I've lost that energy. I've lost that desire. I've lost the love, enthusiasm for the game. But I wasn't ever going to leave the club in shit. So I finished the season. And obviously it's nowhere close. I mean, it's like a million miles away from it. But when he said he's got no energy, and there's been a few interviews with all the other managers, and there's the same question being asked me, saying, "Well, do you relate to that?" Because it absolutely is. It's 24/7. Like,
Yeah,
the
it's
other Klopp said
intense.
he's do 6 press conferences a week for the last 9 years. I mean, can you just,
Yes.
you just, that just,
Wow.
there's so much to comprehend. And then every single, you've got, it's not just the picking the team, going through the tactics, working with the team on the train. It's all the other stuff that comes around it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Working with your owners, your analytics, your medical department, the international managers. List just going on and on and on. And you can see why he said why he's taken a break. And I understand now why he did it. And he's done it like a real, true legend that he is for Liverpool, with the club's best interest at heart. And he said, I could have easily done it in September, tried to go, and then I thought, I don't fancy this, and I'd have left the team in right shape. But he's done it in January. He gives it, well, the owners at the club actually knew in November. So he's announced it in January, obviously today. And it's gone, right, okay, what we'll do is we will give you, Klopp sort of said, well, I'll give you sort of like 6 7 months now to think and plan ahead. And he's got us a brilliant foundation. He said he's got a great foundation, great team for whoever comes along. And we'll touch on who we want to take along. But that was just the sort of takeaway I took from the interview. About you?
Yeah, no, you bang on. It's the intensity, the intensity of the time that he's been here. Like, I keep on, drawing comparisons to Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger, just because of longevity. Obviously, they did it a lot longer, and I'm thinking, why couldn't Jurgen be our Arsene Wenger or Sir Alex Ferguson and go 20 years? And the conclusion that I came to is that it's the intensity at which Liverpool have been at for this long. Sir Alex Ferguson, amazing manager. Nothing about what I'm about to say is anything against him, because in my eyes, he's the best Premier League manager, probably the best Premier League manager ever. But there were years where Man United can afford to take it easy a little bit and still win the title. Whereas Liverpool have had to go gung-ho every single season to get anything. You think of the years, I think maybe there might have been 2 years where we didn't get to a final. And, there's been a couple of seasons where we played literally every game we've got to, every final, and it's just intense, one after the other. And you're going up against the juggernaut in City. Now, I don't care what anyone says, it got to be disheartening. The amount of trophies that Klopp's came away with. What he's done for us is way more than trophies, but you can't, it's just a little bit of a feeling that he should have won more. Without that Man City, and I'm not gonna bang on about what we think about Man City and how they've got these titles and that, but he should have had more to show for it. And it must be just exhausting going against someone like Pep. But equally, Pep, I think, will miss Jurgen Klopp as well, because you bring the best out of each other. It's kind of like a Ronaldo Messi situation. I mean,
let's not beat around the bush. Without Liverpool, Man City walked the league and they've won it by March. The seasons that Liverpool haven't been on top form, and what was it last season? The season before the one where they had no back four. The challengers finished second. I think it was Man United and Arsenal, but they were million miles away from them.
Yeah.
So the only real challenge for Man City in the last 7 years has been Liverpool. And they've pushed each other to ridiculous levels. And I think Guardiola and Klopp, they're both admitting that you obviously need teams to push you on, and they've sort of lifted the level of the league as well.
Yeah, can you imagine that pressure every single game, knowing that you cannot drop points? You get 96 points and not winning the league, 92 and not winning the league.
You made a really interesting point there, and you said it's not just the trophies that is bought us, and I think therein lies the magic. It's not the trophies that we've won with him being in charge. I won everything that you could with him as our manager. It's the feeling and the pride and sense of pride he's given the team and the club back, which I don't think we had for a long time. We now feel as though we're one of the best teams in the world constantly. Even the seasons we've had a dip like 2 seasons, haven't we? Even though, and there might be, there were obviously reasons for it, but we were still one of the best. It was never like under the Roy Hodgson time, or when it was Gerard Houllier at the start of him, or Roy Evans. You know what I mean? So all those times. So in my lifetime, anyway, he's the best manager by distance. But it's a feeling and the belief that is given the club. We've got that. We've never been an arrogant club, but we've got that authority now about us that we are. We could sit on the top table, and quite rightly so as well. And he's given that belief to fans, and he's given fans the joy back. And I think that is the one thing. When you watch games and they mean something, you're talking about pressure. So he's brought that. I mean, we don't like the pressure, but we love the pressure. And, the anxiety of making sure we wouldn't get the 3 points, because City have won the 3 points. So it's a second leg of a Champions League quarter-final. We've got to get a result. Like, there was something on every game, but that only happens when you're top and you've created a culture and an environment that allows that to happen. So it's more than the trophies for me, and he's just, his personality is just so infectious as well. And what he's brought to the league and the club is just going to be a monumental miss. I mean, I'm hoping I'm hoping he does an Alex Ferguson. He said, "Nah, actually, fuck it. I've got my energy back. I'm staying for another." I'll be like, yes. I would happily take that if we don't win anything this season. He just comes in and says, "You know what? I've got the energy back. I can't leave like this, so I'm staying for another 2 years." It feels like that. Feels like Wolf of Wall Street thing, isn't it? When he's like, "I'm not going.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not going." So that's the hope. And the other hope is he has also said, "Oh, I need a season out." That someone babysits the club for a year and says, "Come on, Jurgen, come back.
Get Divock in. Get Origi in."
Yeah, get Origi for a year. I'll get Big Sam in for a year.
Jokingly, I was saying I hope he's just bluffing Pep, and Pep says, "Yeah, you know what, I'm gonna go as well," and then at the end, like, psych. But no, you are right, and it is a case of it's not just the trophies, the accolades. It is the stadium. We've got 2 stands since he's been in there, and I know obviously that has a lot to do with the owners, but the owners don't get there unless he's directed us, put us in a specific direction. They hit the jackpot when they got him. It's also the training facilities. It's the young lads. It's the way that we play. It's the fans. What he's done is he makes everybody accountable. Like Liverpool has never been like it's never been a quiet crowd. It's we've got very good fans, but the times where he calls out the fans, he's big enough to do that where maybe a lot of managers wouldn't. He's big enough to be humble in a sense where we always remember that West Brom game where we drew 2-2. And he got the lads to go in front of the fans, right? And then they clapped him off. And everybody called it cheesy at the time. And everybody said, "What's he doing?" But he was building something. And he knew way before anyone did what was going to happen. Doubters into believers, or, the speech that he'd done at the beginning. And, he delivered in every way, shape, and form what he said he was going to do. And he's leaving us in a way better place. And that's the important thing. I think he was always going to go, but how was he going to leave us? Now it sounds like he was he planned on. Apparently, they've known since around about November.
Yeah.
And we've got to ask the reason why it came out now. It's very likely that we're probably maybe about to approach someone. That's the only reason I can think that it was going to come out, because if we're going to approach someone, then it's going to get out into the media. You can keep everything in house when you've got a close circle of people, but now maybe they're having to approach people, and the word's going to get out, so I need to
get it
out there.
$1 million question: who are we getting?
Now you look.
I'll give you three.
Yeah, you look out there and you think, like, right, where are the managers, the top managers that we grew up
before you answer? Yeah, I think we've got the best manager in the world. Right.
Absolutely.
So whoever we
Anything's
get,
a downgrade.
Be a downgrade. Okay, that is it. So whoever we get, because what he's done was what he's had and what he's been up against has been nothing short of ridiculous. So I want to caveat everything about what we say for now. We have got the best manager in the world. So whoever we get now will be a downgrade. But you've got 3. Go.
Okay, so I'm thinking realistically. So I'm gonna take Zidane out of it, just because. Language, would he want to be over here? He didn't want to play over here, so why would he want to manage over here? Very unlikely. I think he's set on maybe maybe the France national job. So I would have liked him, but it's not a real world decision. So I'm going to go with number one. I would like Xabi Alonso. He is definitely, they're unbeaten. They're the only unbeaten team in Europe, and they're taking it to Bayern Munich, and he just looks a different class. The other managers, Pep Linders, but he's leaving. He would have been one that I maybe would have considered, just because of, obviously, he knows everything about our club, the fundamentals. It would almost seem like a seamless transition, but he hasn't really got the experience of being in the front line of things. So he's another honourable mention. So I'm going to name two others, and those are De Zerbi, but does he deserve it?
Oh, I tell you what, this guy, get him on the clickbait. He knows the game, doesn't he? He's not a rookie.
Obviously Brighton, absolutely immense last season. Could he do it better with better facility, better players, better stature of club? We don't know. That Brighton have kind of gone by the wayside a little bit this season, maybe more true to where they should be. And I did have another, but I can't think of who that might be. To be honest, there's not a great array. I know would love the job, and I would have took him 10 years ago. Mourinho.
Who?
Mourinho. 10 years ago.
That's someone we do not. He's completely.
Did you know that he would love that job? Like he would absolutely.
You know
love
what?
it.
None of the maddest thing is that's the job for him that he would love more than any other job in the world. Like,
if you offered him that today,
but he's so toxic, and the club are we're just so far apart in terms of values that he would never ever get closer. Mine, I think, I mean, obviously the shock of it all, and then about 2 hours later, I started thinking, well, we obviously need to start thinking, looking forward to who's. So Xabi Alonso, I think, it's a no-brainer. I think the most important thing for me is you've got to be able to communicate with the fans, the club, and the media. And what I mean by that is there's got to be some energy. Jurgen Klopp, even though English isn't his first language, he speaks it really well, and he gets his point across well. Xabi Alonso, the interviews I've heard from him, speaks well, knows the game. I would go Unai Emery as well. He'd be my second choice.
Unai Emery, that's the other one.
And the third one is a bit of a. I mean, it's a manager who's just come to our league, but he brings that energy to conferences and gives fans that belief. Is Ange Postecoglou. He has a way of playing which is obviously very front foot. He would be playing with better players, and he's someone that's really impressed me this season. So for me, Xabi Alonso number one, Unai Emery, Ange Postecoglou again. Zidane. This is going to sound mad. I know he's won like 5 Champions Leagues or whatever he has, but he's done it with Real Madrid. And you can.
You're starting at the top.
You've got the best players already. Everything's already set, and you're the Man City plus some, aren't you there? And with Liverpool obviously going to be great. I just think it's really interesting. I don't know, but my thing is, I do actually trust whoever they get. So FSG, the first thing they did is they got Klopp, but they took their time. They knew who they wanted, and I madly enough, I actually trust their decision making. That is something they're really, really good at.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever they go with, I'll absolutely back them to the hill. I'll be interested to know if Klopp has any input on who becomes the new manager.
I never know whether that's a good idea or not.
No. You don't want a David Moyes situation, do you, where Fergie told him to get Moyes?
Yeah, you don't. We've just reeled him off there, and in reality, there's not an outstanding candidate. I feel other than Xabi Alonso. I
mean, the other two that sort of, they're both German, and I think I do like German managers in the way they communicate and the way they get their point across, and there's a little bit of nastiness about them as well. I really like Thomas Tuchel and Nagelsmann. See, they're two managers who I think Tuchel never got the credit he deserved in the Premier League. And Nagelsmann's a good manager also. For me, I'd throw Tuchel in there, and I think he'd snap it up. But yeah, so it's just, the thing is, I mean, you're looking at probably about 5 managers in the world, aren't you? Because essentially you've got to look for the best managers in the world, and whoever we go for is going to be in a job. That's just it, you know what I mean? And we've got to give them whatever they want to come join us. So, I think it's the biggest decision we've obviously had to make for 9 years or 8.5 years. You know what I mean? So it's not like.
If I could say one of them, I want Xabi Alonso. If you want, opinion.
And I actually think I actually think he would come as well because he's
Yeah, well,
played for us. He understands the club.
the only doubt that I have is potentially for Ancelotti leaving Real Madrid at some point.
Yeah.
You know, he is at
He
that.
signed a contract, though, hasn't he, for an extension?
Has he? Oh,
yeah.
well, I'm buzzing about that then.
Yeah.
Buzzing about that. So I think, you know, it's almost not a foregone conclusion, but it's going to be the choice, in my opinion. And who better? Like, I know he's a relatively new manager, but you know, he's taken Bundesliga by storm. He's played under the best managers in the world. You know, you think of Mourinho.
I mean, it's not, the thing is, Leverkusen isn't his first job. He was at Sociedad before that. So he's earned his stripes before he's gone there. You know what I mean? Not like Lampard getting Chelsea gig after like half season at Derby. This is proper, you know what I mean, working. And let's don't underestimate the workers at Leverkusen. I mean, they were class last season as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's not just suddenly, it's something's been a work in progress. So he's a manager.
I'd be interested to see how things develop under him, whether he'd like to continue his style the way going forward and implementing obviously his own style, like kind of like an amalgamation. Because from what I understand with Leverkusen, they do have a bit of pep, they do have a bit of as in retention of ball. I think that they are the highest possession team in Bundesliga, along with Bayern Munich, but also they do like the high press. They play the times that I've seen them play like a 3-4-3, which kind of turns into like a 4-2-3-1, and which is something that we've never actually played before. Well, not the 4-2-3-1, we've done that, but the 3-4-3. So that would be quite interesting, and that leads me on to the next question. Is we've got like key players coming into 18 months left on the contract. Van Dijk, Trent, and Salah. You know, like we always say, we're not at the same level, but you know, like anybody else, if a manager leaves a club, that's the time when you start to think, right, you know, especially if you're a long-term servant or one of the key players, do I want to be here? Is it time for a change? You know, and, you know, it could just be a case of, you know, you're getting the reassurance of someone quality coming in and you're thinking, nah, I want to work under him. But your thoughts on the players that could potentially or the squad overhaul?
I mean, I think Salah. I don't think Van Dijk's going to go at 32. I think he's going to stay there and finish career.
Yeah,
Salah could go, but I think because Salah could have gone last year. Do you know what I mean? I think Salah could go. I don't think. I think with Trent's not going anywhere because he's our Steven Gerrard of this generation. Where's he going to go? That's the thing. Where's he going to go?
The only place I could think of is Real Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Place. Yeah. I mean, if Real Madrid come and take them three, maybe. But no, I don't see it. I mean, if they go, they go. I mean, I like this in the sound man. All of the players could go, and as long as Klopp stays, I'm happy. But it's just, you know, we can't live in that world now, which is gone on, isn't it? It was like last season when they were playing so shit. I was like, you know what, every one of these goes before Klopp. But it's a really tough one. I mean, the players, I don't know. You know, the thing is, they'll obviously know who the manager is, and the club in the background will be working that as well. We'll be having those discussions as well. You've now got 7 months. It's obviously going to get announced before next season, so we know who the next manager is anyway. And the players will then know as well, and they'll have a feel, and they, you know. But don't get me wrong, age clubs will be in the ear of some players. But if you go through the club, which players are going to leave? Really, they're so embedded in the club. It might be one of the new ones, but you know, it is what it is. I don't see it. I think we've got such a good team and a squad now that they've all bought into what the club is about. Klopp's obviously played a huge part in that, but we'd be guessing, won't we?
I agree. That's why you can't. This can't be almost like a gamble with an appointment. It can't be like a.
Can't be a David Moyes, can it?
Yeah, we've talked about it in the past where we were like, you know, potentially, you know, we might have liked to see like a Graham Potter. That was back then. It can't be that now. It can't be like, right, David, Graham, we're going to give you a bit of time, or it's got to be someone that comes in with authority and immediately it commands the players' respect to the point where they're like, right, yes. Because let's not get twisted. At some point, Guardiola is going to leave, and I would imagine that's sooner rather than later. And then it's that next generation of managers. You know, you've got Arteta already in place. He's primed. You know, he's settled, got a feet under the table. Now you're after who's going to rival these next, who's going to be the leader of these next lot of managers. Arsenal seem in a good place. Villa seem to be in a good place. Tottenham seem to be in a good place. With him doing it at this stage of the season, how do you think that it'll impact the team? Do you think it's going to be something that's going to derail our season, or if anything, do you think it's going to lift everybody?
I would think the manager that he is and what's happening, I think it will lift the team. Sorry. When I heard it, I was like, that's it. We're going to do everything. I mean, they give 100% anyway. We're going to give 110, 20%. Everything I've got, I'm going to leave nothing behind now. We'll do everything we can to win everything. And I would imagine, you know what, if he's done this, I'm hoping he's done this. He's saying, I'm leaving it. He just that extra 2-3% that he can eke out of them just to get all 4 trophies and then be like, I'm joking, I'm back. No, I think for me, I mean, I don't know, I'm just as a fan, but I'd imagine the players as well, they'd be like going all out now even more. I think it will, I'd imagine, inspire them more than even before.
Yeah. So it's not going to be like one of them Brendan things where he's got like 3 envelopes and realistically he's staying.
No,
I was just inspiring you boys. Yeah. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what does develop over the next few weeks. It's a time to be excited. I think we can all be devastated. But the reality is it would have to end sometime, and he's left us in a good position, unlike some certain managers. Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah, cool. With all that being said, I've actually enjoyed this. I forgot we started this probably about 3 years ago now. Was it 3 years ago, 4 years ago? The start of the pandemic, wasn't it? Probably, it was 4 years ago. Start of the pandemic, and ever since then we did this every week. Probably sometimes we do it twice a week, and like life just got in the way. And sort of the last 4 months we've been really, really shit. There's no other way to put it. Okay, we just make it. Can't do this, can't whatever. But this, if we didn't come back for this, then I'd have just been like, delete the channel, everything. But we are back. So what we need to do is like, subscribe. I've not said that
make us rich.
Please, if you like what we said, click that like button, click that subscribe button, and what we will do is we will do at least one every month. Okay, we'll try and push for 2 weeks, but obviously once some breaking news like this, we'll be straight on it. But yeah, I've enjoyed this. I mean, don't get me wrong, it took me a while to get my camera and my speaker and everything else to work. And it's like, oh, did we do this every week?
But, yeah, no, really good. Just a shame it's not under better circumstances.
No,
but
I know.
In Xabi, we trust.
In Xabi, we do trust. And in the extra 40 subscribers, we will trust as well. So make it worthwhile. Peace and love, guys.
See you later, guys.